Creature Commandos is based on a lesser-known DC Comics team introduced in 1980. It's going to be the very first project that James Gunn brings into the DCU. And if you know anything about Gunn, you know he has a knack for turning obscure comic book characters into household names. Think about Guardians of the Galaxy for a second. That's a team that no one knew about. No one knew about these characters unless you were reading the comics.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
And now, thanks to Gunn's trilogy, they are a household name as far as Marvel is concerned. They're up there with Iron Man, Captain America, and the Hulk. Now, there are a lot of similarities between the two teams. They're both made up of bizarre, unconventional characters who are thrown together to save the day. James Gunn just loves to work with misfits. Characters with big flaws, but even bigger potential. And this is where we see the parallels between the two teams. Let's go ahead and kick things off with Rick Flag Sr. He's the leader of the group, much like Star-Lord in Guardians. Now, Star-Lord did have a lot of charm to him, but Rick Flag Sr., not so much. He's a soldier who gets the job done no matter what. And just like Peter Quill, Rick Flag's leadership is what's going to bring the creatures together. Next up, we have Nina Mazursky, part human, part amphibian. She's kind of like the team's version of Drax, powerful, a bit stoic, and driven by a tragic backstory. But while Drax's tragedy brings him humor and a sense of duty, Nina's nature might bring her more mystery and depth to the team. And then there's Dr. Phosphorus, a character who's a literal radioactive skeleton. Imagine him as the Rocket Raccoon of the group, quirky with a dark sense of humor. Gunn has a way of making these characters who look a little off-putting become a fan favorite, and I think that's going to be the case for Dr. Phosphorus.
Are you smiling?
Yes.
Sarcastically?
And now let's talk about Frankenstein. He's the team's version of Groot. This massive, super strong character with a surprising amount of heart. Now, the only words that Groot can say is, "I am Groot." But throughout the trilogy, he managed to communicate so much.
We are Groot.
Frankenstein might be a lot similar to that. He might just seem like some big dumb brute, but he's gonna manage to have a lot more humanity than you'd expect from a creature stitched together from corpses. And then there's the Bride. She's got this fierce warrior energy like Gamora from Guardians. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bride becomes a fan favorite due to her no-nonsense attitude and layered personality. And honestly, I've seen her at the center of all the marketing for this show, so she might end up being the leader more so than Rick Flag. And then there's Weasel. Unlike the others, he doesn't really have a Guardians counterpart, but that's what makes him fun. If you've seen the Suicide Squad, you know that this character is unpredictable, creepy, and honestly, pretty darn funny. Now, Weasel's bizarre antics might just steal the show. Remember him licking the glass in Suicide Squad? Yeah, give us more of that guy. And finally, we have G.I. Robot, an emotionless machine who's always ready for the mission. And he kind of reminds me of a cross between Drax and Vision. While he might seem all about the business, there's a good chance that we'll see some depth as the series goes on.
It's been oh so long since G.I. Robot has sent Nazis back to hell.
So what makes Creature Commandos poised for success just like the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, it's the perfect combination of James Gunn's creative vision and the dynamics of the team. He did it in Guardians and he's about to do it again. Also, audiences love a team of outcasts that come together for a greater cause. Now, whether that's a Marvel space movie or a dark, monster-filled DC world, the theme is the same. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy, Creature Commandos has potential to blend action, comedy, and emotion, and that is a recipe for success. And let's be honest, when you see a character that's flawed and makes mistakes, you start to see yourself in them. And regardless if we're watching the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Creature Commandos, we root for them because they're far from perfect, just like us. Now, at the end of the day, Creature Commandos has all the right ingredients to be a huge success, not just for James Gunn, but for DC as well. And a lot of people might say the similarities between this and Guardians could be a downside. You gotta remember that James Gunn himself made Guardians. He knows how to make team-up movies that are full of heart and also a lot of fun. And in a recent interview, Gunn said he's used to dealing with the oddballs and irregular types and weirdos. That's what Guardians is, and Creature Commandos is kind of like Guardians without the sentimentality. The Guardians are really good characters at their heart, and that just isn't necessarily the case with the creatures. So what do you all think? Is Creature Commandos gonna live up to the hype? Is it gonna be a great starting point for the DCU? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video, remember to subscribe to the channel for movie news, reviews, rankings, recaps, and so much more. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you in the next one.
Let's call it Task Force M. M for Monster. Also known as